Hello, this is Amber with Who's Your Hypnosis, and I want to talk to you about a problem most of us have had at one point or another. I want to talk to you about a night that I was eating my feelings. I had a brutal day. Um, Actually, there's a recent example of this too. But something bad had happened with my mom, and I'd had the usual clients, the day deadlines, all the chaos, the homeschooling, the drama with my kid. And I found myself standing from the pantry at 10 p.m., staring at a box of Girl Scout cookies that I knew I shouldn't eat, that I wasn't really hungry for, and I knew better than to do it, but I ate a whole box. We've all been there. I don't care if it's chocolate, I don't, whatever your vice of food choice is. We've all had those moments. And we've all had the moment afterwards where we beat ourselves up, where we asked why we do this. We reminded ourselves that we know better. And we noticed that we weren't even really hungry when we started. And for the longest time, while I was learning about all these things, and these different ways to handle these situations, I thought that I was eating because I was weak, because I didn't have willpower, because I didn't have discipline. And while I won't say that's entirely not true, the more important thing is that I was doing it because it was working as a coping skill. We don't do these things just to do them. We do them because they're working for us where we're at. Emotional eating follows this pattern too. You're standing in the fridge, or you're making a secret trip to a drive-in that you don't want your partner to know about. The bag of chips that disappears while you're doom scrolling and you can't believe that you ate a whole bag of chips. It all started because it was serving a function. You were eating because you were bored. You were eating because you were stressed. You were eating because that's the pattern you learned from your parents. I know I live with that one. My parents, my mother's response was anytime something was wrong, let's go get some ice cream, to a incredibly unhealthy degree. But that aside, it's taken me a long time to break some of those habits and to understand why they worked the way they did. But those things were all accomplishing something for your nervous system, something that nothing else was functional at doing at that time. The food, it gave you dopamine when your brain was starving for relief. It created a moment of sensation where you could kind of be numb. It gave you something else to do with your hands while the anxiety was buzzing through your body. I hate that sensation. But we all experience these things. We're human. These aren't character flaws, they are learned strategies. And you were doing them because they were working. But like any strategy, it can become maladaptive. It can start to cause us to gain weight. It can make us feel bad about ourselves. It's solving one problem and creating another. But you have to remember, they aren't flaws. They're learned strategies. You can unlearn them and you can replace them. For me, the eating was sedation. If I was full enough or too focused on my stomach being uncomfortable, I didn't have to feel that thing I didn't want to feel. It was an off switch, and it worked until it didn't. But as most of us know, willpower alone is rarely enough to solve these things by themselves. You are trying to think your way out of a survival strategy. Your prefrontal cortex, your thinking brain is trying to override a pattern that lives in your survival brain. And when the stress hits, that thinking brain goes right offline. Survival brain takes over, and it goes to what it knows has worked best in the past before, even if it may cause another problem. Running is a great solution to a problem if you're in danger. If you keep running from the same bully, though, you're still going to have the same problem. And it's kind of the same thing here. We have to find new ways to go after these problems when we're in survival mode. So how do we do that? When it's not that you don't know better, when it's that your nervous system is executing a program that was written when you didn't have better options? Well, I got two ideas for you. The very first thing is you got to map that function. Before you try to stop, before you even contemplate a way of stopping, ask, what is this doing for me? Is it self soothing? Is it numbing? Am I giving myself a hit of pleasure when everything else feels hard? What is the function? And it might take you a hot minute to figure out what that thing is. Sometimes it comes instantly to me. And sometimes we've pondered what that problem is for a good week or two. If it's something that's deeper rooted, it could take you longer. But you have to identify what that feeling, what that behavior is causing you to feel, and what it's accomplishing. How is it benefiting you? Even though you know it's bad for you, even though you know that you need to be doing something else. Once you've identified that, the second is to replace it. You can't just remove it. Your brain needs a function in that place. And if you don't choose it, it's like a weed in a garden. Something else is going to grow up in there, and it might be worse than what you picked before. Take away the food. Give yourself other options. Find other things that you can use. And I encourage you to find as many different options as you can for a multitude of reasons. First, your first idea might not work. Two, it may not work years from now or a week from now when something changes or you find yourself in a different situation. Sometimes the coping skill you need is going to be dependent on the different situations you find yourself in. If I'm at work and a client is freaking me out, I can't stop and meditate. That's my favorite go-to, is to meditate or to go into trance. I can go into trance with them maybe with my job, but that doesn't mean that I can do the thing I need to do. So what do I do in that moment? I might choose a breathing exercise. I might go to the bathroom and do something a little more quickly, something small that will help me reset and get back to where I need to be. This is what we do with hypnosis all the time. This is what cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectical behavioral therapy take a little bit longer to do. With hypnosis, as long as you know what this is doing for you and you can identify the negative behavior, you can generally find a solution for it. But this is what we're doing. We are updating the association at the source. We stop fighting the system and we make a decision that we're going to work with our unconscious mind to change it. You don't have to keep white knuckling through these habit changes. There's a way to update the pattern itself. And if you're ready to stop fighting your own survival strategies and start updating them, I'm always here to talk. Otherwise, I'm happy to just continue sharing information. As long as I am giving somebody something to think about that gets them closer, these videos are worth every second. So I'm here if you need me. If not, there are lots of books and lots of other people that might be better suited. You do what you need to do. But I encourage you, examine what those behaviors are for and start rewriting them. No one deserves to have all these feelings about themselves and give us anything negative. We should only feel negative about the things we actually do that are seriously wrong. And then we stop doing that behavior, so we stop having those feelings. I hope this helped. I hope you have a great and beautiful week. I know I'm a little late posting this first video for the week. I thought about it because I was eating my feelings this weekend after family loss. And that aside, I figured maybe somebody else was feeling that way this week and needed the same message. But until the next short, you have a great week and keep rewriting your brain. You can do it. And hypnosis is just one tool you can use to support it. Bye.